firewall. So what do you think? What exactly is a firewall and where we use it? Anyone? So what is a firewall? No problem. Your all answers are welcomed.
Ma'am, it protect our organization from the external threats,
Yes,
malwares.
basically, firewall, it is a security device that normally at our home we do have firewall. So if you are using your laptop right now, you do have some firewalls also, but that firewall is part of your now operating system. So that is some sort of software that you all are using. So that is on your device. So that is within the limitation of your device capabilities, right? But if you are sitting in your organization, let's say you are having your another fellow who is also sitting over here, there it means that there are a bunch of people who are sitting. So normally when all people are sitting together and they have some capacities to share among them, for example, they are sharing the same network means, let's say this guy is having IPS 172.16.0.1, and similarly, this guy is having IPS 172.16.0.2. Another one is having, third one is, you can expect 172.16.0.3. So now we can say everyone is using a network. Among these all, you can say this is what the family. So these are the three members belonging to the same family, right? So this is person number 1.1 is the IP, person number 2, person number 3. So in IP address, we do have two components. One is called your network portion. Another one is called your host part. So network part, that means it is a serial number. IP address, basically, it is a serial number from which network you are the part of. For example, 172.16.0.1, this is the first serial number, first IP that is belonging to some network. Now that network you can only decide until and unless you do not mention the subnet mask bits. So we do say this is the network part. So I would say I'm using here my subnet mask as 24. So 24 right now, that means the first 24 bits. So this is what octet values are. And first 24 bits, I'm saying it is reserved for everyone's network only. So this is representing, and everyone should be having their same network part. And that is true also, right? This is true here also. Here, if you will see what is common between all of them. So that is the common thing that you can see. So that is how we call it networking, net ID and host ID. Now, when you have these kind of bunch of people, so they form a LAN, okay? We call they are the part of LAN, or in normal computer network terminology, we can also say this is the LAN users, right? So these LAN users basically, so they are connected to some sort of firewalls, right? So why we are connecting them to firewall? Because in a company, if you are generating a traffic, so if you are just trying to open www.cisco.com, right? Let's say, so I'm generating this traffic. Or you can assume google.com also, no problem. Okay, if you are generating this traffic, so it is going out of your device. You are sitting in your organization, you are trying to open this web page, and somehow this any layer 3 device, layer 3 means a router can be there, or a firewall for the security purpose. We have security purpose security appliances. So these are called network perimetry devices, because these are sitting at the perimetry of your network, so that the whatever the incoming, or incoming from internet towards your, or whatever the traffic you that is going from out to outgoing traffic from LAN to, we normally say internet. So internet, it is like a collection of ISPs, we call it WAN. Okay, so here the direction would matter. So something is called traffic can be generated from LAN to WAN side also from WAN to LAN side also. Both side are possible, right? So if you, especially firewalls are needed, do you need to worry if, let's say, this is your family and you know your any one of your family member is going out of your home, maybe to going to market or somewhere. So do you really need to worry? Not that much, right? Because you know whatever the data you are generating from here, you trust them, no, everyone knows your security rules, policies. So here that much not needed. But you don't know from outside what is the person who can actually come at your door. So we normally call, in the terminology wise in Palo Alto, we call this as untrusted traffic, right? So I'll go for the text only. This is called untrusted traffic. And from LAN side, you always say, this is my trusted traffic. So a firewall is basically needed, whatever the untrusted traffic is approaching to the trusted site. So outgoing is okay, but incoming, from which part it is coming from, we do not know. So we want to inspect it. We want to check who is sending you what. So who means your IP addressing only. So who is the source IP? Who is the source port? What exactly they want to do it? So these all things are being managed by your firewall. And how does your firewall will come to know this is not the right data for you? Any idea? How firewall would come to know? How do you decide anyone? Like if you will take some normal example also, you can say there is one big organization, and here is one security guy is standing over here, just outside the boundary. So how he will check, or how he will allow or deny somebody to go in or not? So this is let's say this is the security guard of your organization. So this is outside. Okay, so this circle, pink circle is outside, and this is your inside. So this security guard's responsibility, this is your firewall, you can assume. So this firewall will be having some rules, right? So this security guard will follow some rules. So it will check whether any outsider who is approaching towards your premises, so do they have the right ID or not? So for example, ID card, they will check. What they will verify from the ID? Who you are, right? Exactly the same thing. So who factor is always decided by your firewall. We call it layer 2, layer 3, and layer 4 information. So this is your layer 4 information, all the way from layer 2 layer 4. Now, which layer we are talking about? We are talking about your OSI layers. Can anyone name layer 2, layer 3, layer 4 here? What is layer 2?
Data link.
Session layer.
I mean,
Data link is
layer 2
layer two.
means
Switches.
okay. Yeah, layer 2 means data link layer only. Okay, do not get confused from the order. So layer 3
Network.
means network, and layer 4 means transport, right?
Transport.
Okay, so here one I just quick tip I want to go for. OSI, whenever any question anyone asks you, do not compromise with the ordering. Layer 7, this name is always and always and will be
Transport
for
layer.
life also. So this
Transport
is
application.
reserved for application only. So this is application layer. Layer 1 will never ever become application. This is layer 7 only, right? Layer 6 will be
Session.
Session layer.
Presentation.
Presentation. Oh yeah. Sorry.
presentation, and layer 5 is
5 is session.
Session.
Yes. So session layer
layer.
is everyone's favorite layer, right? Everyone is saying session. So layer 4, this is your transport layer now. And layer 3, that is your network layer. Layer 2, that is your data link layer.
Data link.
And then layer 1,
Physical.
physical. Okay, so that this is the order, and it has never been changed since last 30, 40 or 100 years, and it will never ever change without any certain kind of visible changes in the history. It will never ever change. So layer 1 means physical layer only. Layer 7 means application layer. So just make it correct. So when you talk about who you are, so you are basically concerned about these layers. So these 4 layers. Okay, so these are the layers that basically these are called your identification level inspection, we call it. Because layer 2 means it who will it identify. Layer 2 is basically responsible for your MAC addressing. So where do you find the MAC address? It is responsible for identify the MAC address. What is the MAC address and where do you find it? Anyone?
MAC table.
MAC table, yeah. And what exactly this the address is of? If I'm saying I'm living in,
NIC.
let's say,
Hardware address.
NIC.
hardware, right? Yes, because we are saying if IP is the address of your PC, then MAC is the address of what? You have already one IP address. Then what do you need a MAC address now? Right? So MAC address, it is basically, it is the permanent address that is labeled on your NIC. NIC means?
Network
What
Network
interface
interface
card.
card.
Interface card.
Yes, so NIC basically that is your network interface card, or normally we call it LAN card also. Okay, so this LAN card, where do you find it? Have you ever noticed what is the role of NIC in the role of internet? What does it playing any role? So this NIC is the one basically where your RJ45 connector, RJ45 connector means the LAN cable where you plug into your PC or your laptop, right? That is the connection. We normally call it RJ45. Okay, RJ45 connection is actually designed for the Ethernet technology. Okay, Ethernet is the technology that actually support this OSI in some manner. Okay, it understand the language of network. It understand, okay, if I'm right now on the YouTube now, if I'm sharing my screen that meant to be shared, if I'm saying something or if I'm typing Ethernet here, it should be as it is visible to all of you. So that is basically the travel of data from source to destination, how it will be proceeding. Because from my side, everything is being sent to you in form of signals. You are also receiving signals. But how these all signals are coming some meaningful data to you so that you can see on the screen, you can listen me. So this everything depend upon the OSI. So these rules, regulations, OSI, it is like the law book of computer network. So there are some very particular laws of internet, how the packet would be transformed, how the data will be transformed from one place to another. So these are the very basic deep down things that we have to also be aware of when we talk about Palo Alto, right? So basically, when your firewall is trying to identify who you are, it is identifying what is the MAC address on you. Okay, and layer 3 means we already know. So layer 3 will be, what will be the layer 3? So what will be the job of layer 3? So layer 3 will be of talking about your IP address. Exactly. Nice. So IP address is basically that is handed over to your layer 3, that is network layer. And why do you think this network layer is the only layer who is understanding IP? What's wrong with data link layer? Why it is not able to understand IP address? So because these layers, there is no layer at all. If you cut off your LAN cable, if you will see nothing, it is just wiring. There are no layers. You will never ever see any layer in your network that is traveling. So these are the software modules. Where do you find these software modules? So this is basically, if this is my PC, okay, this is my PC. Right now I'm connected to internet, and how I'm interacting with my PC, what is the main logic behind my PC? That is operating system, right? If my PC does not have any operating system, is it meaningful for me? No. Similarly, without network operating system, your computer networks are also not meaningful. So this network operating system now, before few years, when internet and networking was not that kind of famous, so these network operating system was separately designed, all software wise also and hardware wise also. But now everything is clubbed together. Every software, I mean every operating system, they do have the network operating system embedded into. So what is the name of that network operating system? So it is called TCP IP suite, right? Everyone should be knowing of this TCP IP suite. So when you configure IP address on your PC, you always go to the property of the TCP IP suite, if you remember. So that is nothing, but that is the law. That is the software module that is actually supporting very small modules we call them in human language, we call them layers. But everything, it is a program, if then else condition. If this is happening, then that will happen. If this is happening, that will happen. So everything is, it is at our end of the day, it is a programming module. So these, whatever we are saying layer 2, it is responsible for MAC address. Right explanation is, so this is a software module that is only and only programmed to understand what exactly the MAC address is and how to process it, how to receive it, how to send it. So that's all it is explained of, right? So similarly, there is a software module. We in other language, in layman language, we say them this is a network layer. So this layer or this module, it is having that logic. So your programmers, whosoever has designed the programming language behind the OSI, so they have explained clearly how the IP address would look like, how to process it, how to identify the network part out of the IP, and how I have to take any decision, like whether this IP belonging to my LAN, outside of LAN, what to do with this IP. So that is the reason this layer 3 means IP addressing module. So that is just a software module only. What about transport layer? Any idea about transport layer? So IP is designed here. IP is programmed here. MAC is explained here. What is the purpose of transport layer?
TCP and UDP.
Exactly. So here, transport layer, there are two twin brothers. So they call them TCP and UDP. These are the main, you can say these are the big brothers of computer networks. Without TCP and UDP, forget about internet, forget about network, you cannot do anything. So TCP and UDP, it is like you do have a road also. There is this is my city 1, this is my city 2. There is a road also. In between, there is a very good road. Okay. So, and they are actually located from each other on a significant distance. But the idea is you cannot walk up to that, and you do not have a vehicle also. So what will be the point of having that road? It is meaningless in that case. So transport layer. So that transport layer is the one. So you can say these guys are, it is like, having one is saying a car owner, right? This is, I'm not very good in designing the car. You can imagine this is car, and this is some sort of other vehicle. You can say this is some other vehicle, right? So this is TCP, this is UDP. So whatever you want to do, if you want to do the HTTPS www.google.com. So Google is not inside your PC, right? Somehow you have to reach to Google server. Google server is right now in the US. So how you will travel to the US? You are not going to take that packet on your own. So you will hand over the traffic to TCP protocol, and then TCP will just take its mapping, Google Maps started, and it will actually deliver the packet to the server. So basically, transport layer is responsible for the actual delivery of those packets. So we do have two main fundamental protocols. One is called your TCP, another one is called your UDP. So it is like how fast they go, what is the speed they will go, and how effectively they are keeping safe your data. So you can just, there is a very good example to understand TCP UDP. You can take the example from your courier service, right? You want to send something, so they will inspect everything. So you can imagine everything is starting from OSI. So everything is very, very correlated to OSI. If you want to send a courier, so first of all, they will identify you, what exactly you want to send. Let's say I have to send a book from city 1 to city 2. So that book will be, first of all, they will verify me, who am I, what I have to send. Do they have basically the service, if it is DTDC, right? That is very famous courier service in India. If DTDC is the service that I'm actually looking forward for to send my data, so that means they should have this in the destination city, wherever I have to send the book, that city should also be having the service office somewhere in DTDC where somebody can receive that book. So these things would be verified first.
I have a question.
Okay, so layer 7 means that actual book. So that means what exactly you want to do. So in OSI, layer 7 means your internet browser, your Google Chrome, and you are just you are not worried about behind the scene what is happening. So you are talking about, okay, so I just want to open www.google.com. So Google's homepage should be on your screen. So you are not going into the detail what exactly is going on. So you are interacting with directly with internet. So that is layer 7. Layer 7 is all responsible for your services, port numbers. Presentation is the which format of data you are actually trying to have. Opening a website is totally different than you are filling a job application online form. So these are the representations, format, data, extensions, .txt, .mp3, .mpv4, everything. Session means, for example, let's say in this session, somebody is asking me a question, and I'm not answering them, right? And let's say two person are parallelly asking me question. One person is asking me what is data link layer. Another one is asking me what is TCP layer. I mean transport layer. So I should know whom has asked me what. If I will be giving the answer of data link to person number 2 who actually asked me the question what is transport layer, so that means I do not know. I just know there are two person who asked me a question, but randomly, okay, give the answer. Anyone would receive no. So it is like to remember whatever the data has come from, and accordingly you are generating the reply. So that will be basically that is called your connection table and session table. So that behave to remember who has asked you what, and parallelly you are giving answer. So you whatever the guy who has asked you data link layer, only data link layer should be answered to that. Whosoever has asked transport layer, so transport layer question should be answered. So because now I'm maintaining two connections at the same time, every connection having its own meaning. So that behave of any device, it is called your, anyone has some idea what exactly it is called? So in computer networks, it is called stateful behave. So this is called a stateful behave of a device. So our Palo Alto firewall, it is a stateful device. It will always remember what is the session ID, what exactly where which server you are talking about. Even you are opening Google Chrome and tab number 1, you are opening the same web page also. So it will still be having two different connections and connection IDs for that. We normally call it session IDs. Okay, so these all things would be maintained by your session layer. So this is the job responsibility of your session layer. Transport layer, you know very well. So this is the delivery guy. Network layer, IP stuff. Data link layer, MAC stuff. Physical layer, then what? Physical layer is actually the wiring. At end of the day, we are talking about to have internet, but you do not have internet connection. You do not have a router. So you do not have LAN cable. So how you will connect to internet? So wiring is important. So this is how the wiring would be coming. So every these things in Palo Alto, basically, terminology plays very important role. Okay, so right now I was actually into the basics so that you guys can be making a base, like, okay, where the data is coming from, how it will be traveling. So basically, when somebody, any security appliance, they have to identify who you are. So they will normally check layer 2, layer 3, layer 4 information. So now onwards, I won't say IP, MAC, and TCP or transport layer thing. I would simply say layer 2, layer 3 headers. So these are called headers. Any kind of address associated with the respective layer, it is called header only. If I'm talking about layer 3 header, obviously I'm talking about source and destination IPs. If I'm talking about layer 4 header, that means I'm talking about source and destination port numbers. If I'm talking about layer 2 header, I'm talking about source and destination MAC address. So these are called headers. Okay, so now your firewall is next generation firewall. Palo Alto firewall, basically, they have some special features. Number one, they are stateful firewalls. Okay, they would always remember where the data has come from. Okay, somebody messaged me, they have a question. Sort of you?
यस मैम
Yeah, please.
मेरे मेरे दो क्वेश्चन है
जी।
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल जो आपने बताया था कि ये आईडी कार्ड वगैरह चेक करता है तो मैक एड्रेस हम चेंज कर सकते हैं
Yes, it is manipulative. You can.
ठीक है तो फायरवॉल कैसे डिफाइन करेगा कि ये उसी पीसी से आ रखा है?
No, in that case, normally what happens, so this is kind of attack sometime, right? So in normal, in any firewall or in any device, we will never play with the MAC addressing. MAC addressing change. If somebody's MAC address is changed, it is not exactly the same that is mentioned on the NIC. So we call it MAC spoofing actually. So MAC spoofing is only done by some sort of attackers, or maybe to check vulnerability analysis on your network device. Otherwise, this is not legitimate and it is not performed. So in case, let's say you have changed to your MAC also, and you are talking to internet also. So in that case, what will happen? You have to decide the way how you, because ultimately you have to tell your device also, like you have to say, do not use my original MAC. Okay, do not go for it, just go for the MAC address where what I have changed. So these are called your rules. So you have to create some rules for that. So it is based upon your rules of transport, whatever you will be doing. So
सपोज मैं किसी कंपनी में काम कर रहा हूँ और मैं उस कंपनी में ही ये ट्राई कर रहा हूँ हैकिंग की। मेरा फ्रेंड का मेरे को मैक एड्रेस पता चल गया और मैं सेम अपने फ्रेंड के पीसी का मैक एड्रेस यूज नहीं कर सकता।
You can spoof it. It is not that difficult. You can definitely spoof it.
और मैं ये कर लेता हूँ, उसके बाद मैं अगर अटैक करता हूँ तो इजीली मैं सर्वर तक पहुंच सकता हूँ।
Yes, yes. Spoofing is the main idea behind that only. You are actually.
तो मैम ऐसे केस में क्या पालो आल्टो कुछ कर सकता है या नहीं सर? नहीं, ये नहीं कर पाता अगर स्पूफ कर लेता है कोई मैक।
In Palo Alto, everything will be detected. So that's how we will be talking about. So MAC addressing, because whenever the data, let's say we do have this firewall, and here it is our LAN side, and you can say this is our WAN side. Okay. So now if you are generating any traffic here, so you have some connections established like this. Okay. If any data is generating from, let's say this guy has generated from data. So this data will be first of all reaching this interface of the firewall. So usually as per our topology, let's say Ethernet 1/2 here and Ethernet 1/1 here. Okay. So now Ethernet 1/2, it is not just an interface here. It is actually the gateway of all this LAN also. So that means 172.16.0.0 network, it is the gateway for whole LAN also. So when any data is arriving at the door of your interfaces here, so we call them, so Palo Alto firewall, it is logically divided into two parts basically. So one part, it is called management plane. Another part is called your data plane. Okay. So data plane, every interface that is actually dealing with the traffic, generating the traffic, sending the traffic, receiving the traffic, filtering the traffic, that everything comes under data plane. Management plane is basically responsible for your logging, reporting, user access. For example, you want to, how you will configure your firewall first of all. So you want your firewall to protect your LAN, your organization. So first of all, you have to create those rules. You have to tell your firewall, this is the network you have to protect. And this is the network you have to protect it from. What is the boundary? What is my LAN definition? What is my WAN definition? So for that, you have to configure your firewalls. You have to configure those policies. We call them security policy, NAT policy, authentication policy. Every kind of policy you have to configure. So for that, you need user access also, okay? Without logging into firewall, how you will configure? So this is totally done by your management plane. So data plane, it is your actual trafficking is going on here. So when this data will be traveled here, so here, when they will be knocking the door of Ethernet 1/2, now every data plane interface of the Palo Alto firewall, they are designed in such a way. First of all, you can imagine your packet is here. Okay, this is your packet. And now Palo Alto firewall has detected there is one packet. It is just trying to enter into the firewall. So first of all, it will pick something is called 6-tuple information. So this 6-tuple information is nothing but who you are. Remember those information only. So now it will ask you.
Information means, ma'am?
Sorry?
Tuple information means, ma'am?
Tuple means, this is what tuple means, 6 columns. Okay, you can imagine always. Tuple means those many things. Source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port, then protocol number, port, source port is already done, and something is called your security or ingress zone. Okay, so if you will count them, these are 6 information things that your Palo Alto firewall will collect, and we call them, in terminology, we call it 6-tuple information. So first of all, it will pick who has generated the traffic. Let's say my PC number first, that is 172.16.0.1 has generated the traffic. And what is the destination? Let's say we do not know the actual IP of google.com. So I'm just trying it is 8.8.8 only. It will be depending upon your DNS resolve, what is the IP for google.com. So for the time being, we can take just, okay, 8.8.8 is the Google's IP. So source port. So it can be anything from your, let's say my source port is 50,000. We know it like because it is a source port, and it will be starting from your 49K series onwards, right? Destination port. So now you will tell me, I'm trying to have this data. What will be my destination port? So what is the destination port and how does it will be working? What is the destination port?
HTTPS है इसलिए 443 होगा.
Ma'am, 443.
Exactly. Destination port is 443 because your service. So this first thing is called your service, and which layer is responsible for this? Layer 7, right? So we know layer 7 is all about your services port numbers of those services only, not your these random port numbers. So these are the port numbers only for reserved for your source part. Destination port number will always come from your layer 7 thing. So destination port number is 443. Protocol number. What is the protocol number and what is a port number? So how do you see them? What is the difference between a protocol number and what is the role of protocol and port?
Protocol means it's showing a rule number.
Rule number? You mean the policy number?
Yeah.
Okay. And port number?
Ma'am, actually, as per my knowledge, protocol number is generally a unique number which is given by IA and to the protocols as like TCP have 6 as a protocol number, UDP have 17 protocol number. For DNS, we use 65, 64 something. And port number is it's just like a gate, a gateway path from where the data packets is flowing.
Yeah, somehow correct. Actually, 2 things are there. Port number, it is the integer number related, assigned to some service of layer 7. It is just a port number. It is equal to some number of your service. So that is, I would say mathematically, it is equal to a service number. Okay. So that is a service number. So for example, on layer 7, if you know, we have services. These services are HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, DNS, DHCP. Then you do have SMTP. So various services are others are also there. So this port number is actually associated with your layer 7 stuff only. So here it is 80, here is 443. Same thing, it will be just taking care of these layer 7. Destination port number will always come from layer 7 services and equivalent their port number, their integer value. So protocol number, this is layer 4 stuff. Okay. On transport layer, all the protocols, in fact, we do have some other different layer protocols also, not just on layer 4. So TCP and UDP, they do not have any port number, they have protocol number. If you will search on Google the list of protocol numbers, so you will see it will start from protocol number 1, that is assigned to ICMP, protocol number 2 IGMP, same thing. So now The role of a protocol number, it is to support, it is to transfer. So remember I told you, you can imagine TCP, UDP, they are two brothers. One is car, one is, you can say, any other vehicle that is not reliable and you will not be guaranteed. So on the during the transit, you are not sure whether your items will be broken, delivered, or they will be in actual good shape. So that is UDP. It is not that reliable of transmission. So this protocol number, it is like every layer 7 service is having one protocol number assigned to it. Okay. So HTTP, HTTPS, these are the services of TCP. So we have to go for TCP only. Automatically your network operating system will decide as per your destination port who will be the layer 4 transport. Who will be the guy? Is it UDP or TCP? For example, if it is DNS related traffic, then UDP will come into picture. HTTPS traffic, TCP will come into picture. So what
मैम
is
मतलब
now
दोनों ही पोर्ट नंबर और प्रोटोकॉल नंबर दोनों ही लेयर 7 से रिलेटेड है?
layer 7 port number, protocol number layer 4.
आपने अभी कहा लेयर 7 में आपने कि
Layer 7
डिपेंडिंग
means
अपॉन
port
कि कौन
number.
सी सर्विस है, आपने
Yes.
कहा कि प्रोटोकॉल नंबर भी उसी के हिसाब से सेट होगा.
Ma'am, I use
No.
little bit Hindi.
I said these are services name. The port numbers are the numbers, integer number assigned to these services. Okay. For example, if I say my port number is 80, that means I'm talking about HTTP only. Here I'm
हाँ
not
जी.
talking about TCP.
नहीं, मैं
Fine.
तो डिफरेंशिएशन की बात कर रहा हूँ मैम कि पोर्ट नंबर को प्रोटोकॉल नंबर से कैसे क्या डिफरेंशिएट करता है.
Differentiate means, now see, if I'm saying HTTP is delivered by TCP, okay, same thing I can say. What is the TCP? What is the protocol number for TCP? Anyone? Because we have a protocol number, just like we do have port numbers, we have protocol number for TCP and UDP.
80 ma'am, 80.
TCP protocol number is 6. Okay, UDP protocol number is 17. So I can say port number 80 is delivered by protocol number 6. So same thing, I'm saying HTTP is the service that is delivered by TCP protocol. So in one way you are using numbers in your language, another way you are using their name. That's all.
मैम समझ नहीं आई बात.
You got it or not?
नहीं नहीं मैडम, नहीं समझ आया.
So for example, HTTP, what is HTTP? HTTP means you are generating web traffic. You are trying to open a web page. You understand how to open a web page, right?
मैम वो बात तो सब समझ में आ रही है, आप मुझे प्रोटोकॉल नंबर के बारे में समझाइए.
Protocol number is the number that will be serving your service. That service will, every service that is mentioned here, that is belonging to your layer 7 structure.
हाँ, तो मतलब फिर मतलब कहने का कि लेयर 7 पे जो सर्विस यूज हो रही है उसी से प्रोटोकॉल नंबर डिसाइड हो रहा है ना मैडम?
Yes, definitely.
हाँ,
Whatever
तो
the
मैं यही तो आपसे पहले कह रहा था कि मतलब देखा जाए तो पोर्ट नंबर और प्रोटोकॉल नंबर दोनों ही लेयर 7 पे जो सर्विस चल रही है उस पे डिपेंडेंट है ना?
No, protocol number will not be there. It is just further, like for example, you will say that somebody has to programmatically say, if you want to program how HTTPS work, so you will be designing a protocol number, okay? I mean a port number, so you are designing the programming for 443. Somehow in the if else then conditions, you will be talking about your protocol number as 6. So that is a predefined thing. It will not decide here. It will be fixed here when you will come to layer 4 only. Because the headers will be marking up. So that is the reason we have to start with layer 7, layer 6, layer 4, 5. When every layer will be adding its own headers. So it is like from top to bottom that the data will travel. From when the data will be received by your layer 4. Layer 4 will check, okay, this is port number 443. So it will decide here. Okay, so it will say TCP, this is your job. So TCP will decide here, not layer 7. Because every layer, they will decide their own job. They will not mingle with others.
तो प्रोटोकॉल नंबर लेयर 4 पे डिसाइड होता है, लेयर 4 की थिंग है, इट्स अ थिंग ऑफ द लेयर 4, ठीक है। मगर मैम डिपेंडेंट तो वो इसी पे है ना कि सर्विस कौन सी काम कर रही है। मतलब
Yes.
लेयर 4 ने जो डिसाइड किया कि ये प्रोटोकॉल नंबर है इस पैकेट के लिए, या उसको हेडर को ऐड किया, दैट वाज बेस्ड ऑन द सर्विस व्हिच वाज बीइंग सर्व्ड एट लेयर 7, है ना?
Yes,
कि
yes,
नहीं?
yes. For sure. So similarly, your port numbers, okay? So these are the port numbers. So this is what your when the data will be received by layer 4. So your layer 4 would understand, because this is what the port number 50,000 is the port number that I have to just continue with it with. And when the reply will also come back, I have to deliver it to that guy only. So every layer will keep on adding its header. So according to those header, the underneath layer will be taking their own action. So do not get confused with, okay, so it is like you never know. Layer 7 will never decide like, okay, this is for TCP, go and knock the door of TCP. No, layer 4 will say, okay, so this is the data for TCP.
वो आपकी बात मैं समझ रहा हूँ कि हर लेयर पे एडिशनल हेडर जो है वो ऐड होगा। बस मैं बात ये समझने की कोशिश कर रहा था कि वो डिपेंडेंट जो डिसाइड होगा वो किस चीज पे डिपेंड करता है।
It will be based upon your headers. For example, every layer will keep on adding its header. So when your layer 4 will receive the data, it will just check those headers and it will decide that that protocol number here. I think I'll refer one book. You have to just go through some details. It will be clarifying there. Go to the details of these things.
क्या मैम कौन सी बुक की बात कर रहे हैं, मैं समझा नहीं।
I'll share you in the chat maybe.
अच्छा।
later on. That is very fundamental level book. And
मेरा जो क्वेश्चन था वो क्लियर नहीं हुआ कि आपको एक्सपीरियंस है। मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि पोलो अल्टो फायरवॉल में अटैक करना इजी है?
Sir, it is not that easy actually, and I would say it is not difficult also.
6 ईयर का एक्सपीरियंस है,
So-
आपके 6 ईयर के एक्सपीरियंस में आपको लगा कि पोलो अल्टो अटैक 2 ईयर के एक्सपीरियंस वाले हैकर अटैक कर सकते हैं इजीली?
नहीं सर, मेरी मेंटालिटी ऐसी नहीं है. So for example, we are not dealing with attack also. Every company, they have different domains. So I'm basically representing my troubleshooting, or we normally belong to the attack domain. Okay, in attack domain, people normally approach to the attack engineer. They say, okay, this is the attack has been occurred, how to deal it with. So our job is to go through the details, what exactly the problem is, how we can sort out the problem. If it is related to malware, attack, ethical hacking, then we have to basically shift the control to the threat team. So threat is the main team that will handle it.
मैम वो बात ठीक है, वो मैं समझ गया। मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ, मैं पोलो अल्टो फायरवॉल पे अटैक करने से रोकना भी चाहता हूँ। उसके लिए मेरे को अटैक का पता होना चाहिए, क्या क्या अटैक हो सकते हैं।
Obviously.
यस, ठीक है, मैं वो पूछ रहा था बस।
Yes. For that, first of all, I think we have to start some sessions on ethical hacking, because there you will see understanding of those attacks. So we are into cybersecurity. Cybersecurity means like we are dealing with how the firewall appliances or security devices, they would work. And yes, some basic understanding how the attack, what are the feature of an attack. For example, security signatures, generating those security signatures, that we can actually understand. Because everything, again, I would say, if then else condition only. If I know, let's say,
मैक्स शॉपिंग बोला, इससे प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए फायरवॉल में क्या अप्लाई कर सकते हैं हम, जिससे हमें
there are so many things. You can simply ignore the packet only. You will not at all receive it. You do have very strong, you do have any level of, you can go for the DPI level inspection also. So there are so many profiles that QoS profiles are there. But right now, I would say this is going to be a very specific discussion. So we should not be going into that kind of detail. But yes, you do have the answer to max spoofing. These are the things why you have firewall, right? Normal firewall of Palo Alto, you will spend some thousand of euros. So that is the main reason why you are paying so much, because you have these solutions. Okay.
और आपने बोला कि उसके लिए यूजर नेम पासवर्ड भी चाहिए होता है, पोर्ट नंबर भी चाहिए होता है, डेस्टिनेशन आईपी और सोर्स आईपी भी चाहिए होते हैं। तो हम जो कंपनी में वर्क कर रहे हैं वहां पे तो DHCP अनेबल होता है, किसकी आईपी कौन सी है वो तो पता चल जाए, बट जब मैंने मैक एड्रेस ही चेंज कर लिया तो वो आइडेंटिफाई हो सकता है?
Everything will be possible, sir. Here, this is what we say. This is step number one. It will completely, demystify you, who you are. So it will check first of all, who is this guy? Okay, if you are basically belonging to this network, then only you would be allowed. If you are somehow not, this is not showing the legitimate traffic, so it will simply drop the packet. It will not entertain. So this packet will be keep on getting dropped here. So here, this 6 tuple information when you collect, so every port number will be associated one protocol number. Okay, for example, HTTPS will come into picture with TCP only. So here the number will be 6. Security zone will be Palo Alto firewall. This is a zone-based firewall. What is a zone-based firewall? Basically, we do have these firewalls. They have their own classification. For example, packet-based firewall. You have packet-based firewall. In that case, what will happen? So these are not that kind of very powerful firewalls. So these firewalls will only check your headers, do not check your data. So every data, basically, it has two parts. One is called header. Another one is called your actual data. So your packet-based firewalls will too much concerned about what is the header stuff, who you are, and where exactly the data is going to be sent. So this is packet-based firewall. Zone-based firewall means collecting these full information, who you are, why you want to send, what you want to send, and if the data is encrypted also, first of all, decrypt it, decode it. So these are the things that your next generation firewall will do. So here normally what happen, if I say there is one firewall, so this is one firewall number one, this is my firewall number two. This is, I'm saying, this is a normal firewall. I'm just representing it with an arrow. And this is my next generation firewall. I'm representing it with some star, a star. So what will be the difference between these two? If I have to block any particular user, right, with the name of user, it's not PC1 or with respect to IP. Now I'm filtering the traffic. I'm saying wherever this user sit, if any machine is saying that user is getting logged in means Windows credentials, Linux credential, whatever. So whenever this user logged into the machine, so do not allow it. So it is user level instruction. So you call it user ID. So this is only available in next generation firewall. Here it is not possible. Another thing is, if I have to say any LAN users, group of users, or full LAN maybe, or a particular user also, so I want to say they can come to google.com or they can search anything. But the moment anyone is clicking on Google Maps, so this should be not accessible to any one of you. So that means Google Maps as an application should be denied, but google.com as a base should be allowed to all of them. So that is called your app ID, application identification based or DPI level based inspection. So this is called app ID, or normally we call it app ID only. Okay. User ID, app ID, and third one is, it is called your CTD. So CTD is the one, somebody who is too much worried about MAC spoofing. So this is the topic that you have to actually be the master of. If you want to understand how the attacks are happening, malware, spyware, antivirus, virus, file blocking, URL filtering, everything is coming under your content and threat detection engine. So every next generation firewall, they are having these three features. Terminology may be different. For example, in Palo Alto, we say user ID. In Cisco, in SSNGFW, Cisco Next Generation Firewall, we call it identity-based policy, right? So anything can be possible. So these are the things that you have to actually keep in mind. So actually, next generation firewall. Now, in this case, if I have to block this, is it possible? So first of all, no. So non-next generation firewalls behave as either you have to block full google.com. That means you cannot search also, you cannot browse google.com also. Or you can allow full access. That means all the applications of Google. So that is the difference between a non-next generation firewall and a next generation firewall. So this is the main three engines that every firewall that is saying I'm next generation, they should be having these things. And other than that, Every next generation firewall, they are now having AI learning system also. So for example, wildfire. So this is the system that normally your Palo Alto uses. So they actually go for the like they use artificial intelligence in order to report those bugs, in order to spread anything during the operating system, distributions. So any new feature, if they want to have any hot fixes, they want to have any new maintenance releases in the operating system they want to have. So this is what the wildfire would come into picture. So this is also one of the strongest feature in next generation firewall. Non-next generation firewall won't do it. So that is the overall idea about it. Vikram, CTD stands for Content and Threat Detection Engine. Okay. So in this course, first of all, let me set you the expectations so that you should be clear what exactly you will be doing. So this is the first Palo Alto course for anyone. It can be, that means if anyone is not even belonging to computer science also, that can be first course for them also. So first one, we will be going through the introduction as the firewall. Okay, what is a firewall and all. So firewalls. Another one in Palo Alto, we will be going through your management and data plane analysis. Number two, number three, there are some type of interfaces. On every firewall, there are whatever the interfaces, that means I'm talking about your data plane interfaces. So there are some types, for example, layer 2, layer 3, HA, tab, vWire. These are the types, and how these different configurations are possible. You will be having those ideas. Policies you would learn how to create those policies or rules, we normally say. Under policies, specifically security policy, NAT policy, authentication policies, and SSL decryption policies. This is what we will be doing in this course. Next comes your high availability, HA. Under HA, we will cover active and passive scenario. Active, no, just active passive scenario. Number 6, we will go for SSL decryption. Number 7, app ID identification idea, with lab, obviously, and then your URL filtering. Next comes your some VPN. If you know about VPN, we do have both type of VPN, site to site and remote site. So in site to site, we do have IPsec. We will do the lab for IPsec here. And number 10, remote VPN, it is the VPN that every company is having their own. For example, Cisco, they have AnyConnect, and we do have Palo Alto's GP. So we will go for the GP, whatever, up to what extent we can go. Sometimes I'm not too sure, due to some sort of issues, technical, GP lab can give you some troubles. But yes, GP we will cover up to some extent. Other than that, we will go for your licensing. Number 12, PAN-OS, that normally called Palo Alto Networks operating system, how it is working, what is the file structure, and then configuration management. Just like your routers, switches, we do have configuration file. Same thing, your Palo Alto firewall, you do have one configuration file also, not one exactly. Here we do have two configurations. One is called your candidate configuration, another one is called your running configuration. So you will learn how these things are working. And number 14, you will go for user ID. 15 also missed from the top. It is called NAT. Here you will learn source NAT also and DNAT. So both source and destination NAT, I would say. So that is the main topics that you will definitely cover, and without any worry, we will cover. If any extra things come into picture, we will see. But that is the flow, how this course is actually going since last many years. And this is how we will be doing. So if you are okay, that is the thing that you will be served on your plate, right? So this is what your expectation should be. And now time to tell you basically the book. Here there is very nice book. I always refer to my almost every engineer. So it is called TCP IP Suite by Firozan. I don't know what is the guy's name. You can just search on TCP/IP suite edition number 2 onwards. Any book. It is by Frozen. You can just search.
Hi, ma'am.
Yeah, hi.
Ma'am, Baldeep here. Ma'am, actually, uh, this is the content, right, which we will cover in the next month in the batch, coming batch. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, ma'am, my little question is that currently I have little bit knowledge on Palo Alto because I work on Palo Alto in Panorama in this. So I have little bit knowledge. But I just want to know that is this firewalls is are demanding force? I mean, the companies are looking for these firewalls.
Yeah, after this course, first of all, if you are looking for your career to work with Palo or
Yes, ma'am. I mean, as a career growth, because from the last 1 year, I'm working with Palo Alto. I'm working with one company, and in that, I'm working as a Palo Alto engineer. I mean, for there, I mean, on Panorama changes configuration somewhat, but I do not have much idea on how to configure everything on Palo Alto.
Hmm.
But somewhat I have a knowledge on how to configure policies on the Palo Alto and implement it on that through Panorama. So that's why, and I just want to understand the what is the market coming market of this firewall, because as per the when I work in industries, people say that Palo Alto have lot of uh, बहुत demanding है in short, and there is lots of good opportunities. Is how
Yes, so they are actually growing since last continuously 4 to 5 years. It is a continuous growth in Palo Alto. So if you are certified in Palo Alto, so name of the certification I have mentioned, it is called PCNSE Palo Alto Certified Network Security Engineer. You can go for PCNSE certification. So after covering these all topics, okay, so if you will be trying to go for PCNSE and you will be putting some efforts on Panorama basics, that means you will be easily qualifying PCNSE, right? So there will be almost 90 questions, and 90 minutes, 75 will be total number of questions that you have to answer. And if you are PCNSE certified, then you will be standing out of the crowd actually. So it will be okay. And yes, definitely, I'm not saying you like giving you any guarantee also, but as per my own experience, I'm saying there is a lot of people they are recruiting nowadays also, and it's not now only, since last 4 to 5 continuously they are booming. So because now it is growing, especially in our India right now, it's totally on the growth. So you will be safe. So definitely your knowledge, your skills would make a huge difference. But go for PCNSE to secure your position.
it is associate level of certification. Because when I talk, there is a two kind of certification which is networking offering. One is associate and one is expert level. So what should I do? I mean, although I do not have much experience like NAT, the one which you have listed, I do not have how to configure NAT and this GP. I know that Global Protect VPN. I do not have idea on how to configure it that on Palo Alto, but somewhat I have a knowledge on policy terms. I mean policy and interfaces. How to configure it on the Palo Alto. So that so which certification will be helpful? I mean, first I should do.
Yeah, definitely. Configuration wise, because this is what this course is. Whatever the topics I have listed, for sure, everything will be on your lab. Number one, there is no theory involved too much. Theory, in fact, I give priority to theory when it comes to very deep level of theory, because in fact, normally we say if anyone is coming for Palo Alto, at least they are equipped with some sort of networking basics. But still, in every class, even if I have to explain you what is an IP, also, I normally go for it because there is nobody like. I mean, there are some students basically from the non-technical background, so we have to also go for them also. But if you know configuration, then only you would say you are confident. If you don't know configuration, then I think this is the best place to start your configuration first because it will boost, enhance your confidence a lot. So whatever you know, and if you will club with your practical configuration skills, it will be definitely beneficial. Yeah, Sumit, please tell me what is your question.
Hi, sorry, ma'am. So my question is related to the differentiate of these FortiGate firewalls and the Palo Alto firewalls. What are the major differences between both firewalls?
Okay, basically Fortinet firewall and Palo Alto firewall. I can give you answer some sort of say similarities wise also. They, if we have to say the level of complexity when you configure anything, they are same. Uh, in fact, Cisco is the one that will be a bit complicated, but Fortinet exactly very easy to configure, and similarly Palo Alto is also easy to configure. But when it comes to the log analysis, right, because at end of the day you have to understand the log only. Log is a file that is helpful for every tech engineer. TAC means technical assistant center, and every engineer who is sorting out or who is doing the troubleshooting for certain kind of live case. So that is the role that you can expect after this course that you can be fitting for. Now you have to understand the log analysis. So log analysis, it is much more clearer in Palo Alto as compared to Fortinet, I would say. But yes, both the firewalls are equal powerful and easy to configure. But here I personally like log analysis of Palo Alto. I have some batches on Cisco, Fortinet, Checkpoint, but my favorite firewall is Palo Alto only because there are multiple reasons. Is how to configure anything, to understand anything. Second thing is it is very user friendly. Then my best part was to understand the log analysis because log file, it is a kind of a file. It is not a very friendly file. It is very boring type of file that you have to understand what exactly is happening. So
I
for
got
example,
your point, ma'am. So it is similarly to the FortiGate, Forti analyzer.
no,
It is
you
like
can say
reporting tool.
configuration wise, both are equal, easy, user friendly.
Yeah.
But their log files and Palo Alto's log file, there is a huge difference. So I would prefer Palo Alto over Fortinet.
Okay. Okay. Got your point. Yeah. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
it's
And
okay.
my second question is related to the course content.
Mhm.
So as you said that you were talking to some person that you will be starting from the big, I mean to say, to see the beginners also. I mean to say,
Yeah,
to grab from the entry level. Is it
yeah.
right? No?
Yes, yes.
So you are going to cover the IP addressing part also on this?
Yeah, if
Missile layers
definitely
also.
if you will be see, ultimately, let's say today you will be deciding, okay, I want to go for Palo Alto, and now you are telling, I am from different background, or maybe let's say you're not from different background also. You are from technical background only, but you want to brush up your skills on IP addressing. Then why not being your mentor, being your trainer, or anything, whatever. So I should motivate whatever you want to learn. So from my side, I would be much more happy to go for these basic details. No problem at all because it will actually get your very strong basics. So that is okay. And
Okay.
one
And
more thing, yeah, thank you for reminding me one thing. Sorry, I'm just disconnecting your talk for 1 minute.
yeah,
This Palo Alto is at end of the day, okay? This is the backbone now I'm going to tell. Palo Alto, understand Palo Alto, I would say Palo Alto is equal to TCP IP suite plus VPN. So this is what you are actually you can expect you from. So if you want to understand a Palo Alto, so Palo Alto is sitting on one layer ahead of TCP/IP. That means you should be very, very strong on TCP/IP and your VPN. VPN means IPsec basics, your remote VPN basic, then IP addressing, then your routing, how routing is working, how switches are working, how routers are actually taking the decisions. These all things would play very, very important role here. So in case if you don't know these things, so I would definitely do my best to explain you. This is all I can say, because
last
this is what
And
main
it's
thing.
better if you can explain this.
Yes, sorry.
Ma'am, I said it's better if you can start from this TCP/IP plus VPN.
Yes, because in when you will be working as attack, you are just troubleshooting those headers only. Header means TCP header, IP header, DHCP header, ARP header, DNS header, telnet header. So HTTP, HTTPS. If you do not know the headers, then even if you will be okay. So for example, let's say I don't explain you anything, I will say no, sorry. You have to just come up with these things. You have to be coming as a half filled glass, right? So, but at the end of the day, if anyone is coming as empty only, so what will be the use of these things if you, let's say, after completing this course, luckily that guy is getting one job in the company and now he is sorting out some case. So now case is all about how this traffic, that is the TCP IP whole thing, how is firewall is handling that only. Firewall is handling what? Your traffic only. And traffic is what? Traffic is your TCP IP thing. So TCP IP understanding is must.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
And
Yeah.
how long it will take to complete this course?
I think this is for weekdays batch, right? Monday to Friday. So it will normally take 2 months.
Okay, okay.
मैम
Yeah.
मेरा लास्ट क्वेश्चन है, मेरा लास्ट क्वेश्चन ये है कि मैं साइबर सिक्योरिटी कर रहा हूँ जिसमें मेरा ECH V12 पेन टेस्टर और वन मोर है, तो इसमें मेरे को पोलो अल्टो कैसे हेल्प करेगा?
Here, then you would understand actually. Palo Alto is basically, we should not understand we should not visualize the things like, okay, you will be clubbing your CEH and Palo Alto together. So Palo Alto, they have one domain further. It is called threat team, or there are some other team. It is called XDR. Okay, so this is a part of your further malware detection team also. But for that, this is the basic, because if you have to identify something, so how the malware is approaching you, how you have to mitigate those attacks, first of all you have to understand these policies. So that is the reason this is step number 1. So still it will be helpful. This is a beginner's course in Palo Alto.
सर बोल रहे थे कि ये पोलो अल्टो के बाद भी तुम अगर किसी साइबर सिक्योरिटी के लिए अप्लाई करते हो तो ये प्लस पॉइंट हो जाएगा, क्योंकि तुम्हारे को
Yes.
हैकिंग के बारे में आता है, पेन टेस्टर तुम्हें आता है, तुम पोलो अल्टो के लिए जॉब अप्लाई करते हो तो तुम वो दोनों सर्टिफिकेशन भी दिखा सकते हो.
That is a true fact. That is a fact. I would say not only do not stop by Palo Alto only. I would say in Palo Alto, first your certification can be.
I bought a firewall, master firewall, almost checkpoint, FortiGate and Palo Alto 3 1.
Yes. So in fact, in Palo Alto, I'm saying do not stop at PCNSE. There are some other certifications. For example, for XDR, there is another certification. Just go for it. People are actually looking forward for skilled people, especially Palo Alto and these all things. So but still for everything, this is the basic.
मैम
Okay.
क्लास में फुल्ली इंग्लिश होगी या लिटिल बिट हिंदी भी यूज होगी?
Actually, I use normal English in class because there are some international students usually in my batch. So somebody they are basically from other countries also. So it would depend if all the batch mates are from the same place and they understand the language, then why not?
ऑल इन वन गाइस, सभी कंफर्टेबल हो लिटिल बिट हिंदी में?
भाई मैं तो हिंदी के लिए था.
ऑल इन वन प्लीज.
Yeah, sure. I would definitely try.
I
Even
think we should talk to
Yes.
the, I think the teacher
I'm
or
not
the counselor
understanding
first.
Hindi,
I'm
please.
comfortable, completely I'm comfortable in the Hindi, and it will be preferred for me
ये नहीं
in
कह रहे
Hindi.
कंप्लीटली हिंदी होगी, बट हाँ लिटिल बिट जैसे कहीं अटक जाते हैं तो कई बार हम पूछते हैं, तो सब कंफर्टेबल हो ना, बस इतना पूछना था, क्योंकि सभी हम
Yes,
मैंने
yes.
बैक क्लास में भी इंग्लिश में था, बट हाँ सब कंफर्टेबल थे, तो लिटिल बिट हिंदी यूज होती थी.
Okay.
I am okay either ways, no issues.
Fine. We'll see, because today is the first day. Normally, people get registered after the demo also. So we will definitely. At the end of the day, my job is to whatever I'm saying, you should be understanding. No matter what language you would understand, I will do that. Okay, Mahindra, you are asking me question. What are the differences between firewall, next generation firewall, and devices? Okay, firewall and next generation firewall, I think you missed this thing I explained here with the help of blue arrow and star. So please just go through one more time. And next generation firewall, these are the features, okay? Wildfire, user ID, app ID, CTD that I have explained, and stateful behave also. And if I'm talking about the devices, there are multiple in the market. We do have multiple companies or vendors. Cisco, they have SNCF, SS, NGFW. Fortinet, they do have, we have multiple devices, okay? So definitely Cisco firewall, I mean Palo Alto firewall. So this is one of the next generation firewall. So that is how we will be doing. And these are the topics
Ma'am,
in case you are late.
hello.
Yeah, please tell me.
Yeah, ma'am. When this batch will be going to start?
Basically, today is the day one. Let's say how it will proceed further. Normally, what happen after the demo? Sometimes people take some time in to get registered, or I normally carry on with the same date. So this is day one. Let's say.
Okay, so actually, I have discussed with Ajay. He said that will be start on the coming Monday. Means next Monday.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because after demo, there are some people who are making their mind whether we have to go for this or not. So
Okay.
that is the reason.
So I have one more question, ma'am. Ma'am, how we can done the configuration part in Palo Alto?
We do when you will be enrolled with the course. You will
Yeah.
be given up with one user name and password. Those credentials will be for your lab. And normally from day one only, we start from the lab part. So it is not like, okay, today is theory, tomorrow is lab. No. So whatever we are dealing, whatever we are doing, that is on the lab part. Yes, wherever the theory is needed, where definitely it cannot be, replaced with lab. And similarly, lab cannot be replaced with theory. And where we have to do the combo, will be doing. Most of the time, I do have almost all the topics where we have to go for lab.
Okay, okay. मैम समटाइम्स ऐसा भी होता है ना कि मतलब कितना स्पेस रिक्वायर्ड है फॉलो ऑल्टो के केस में हमें जो भी अगर इंस्टॉल करना है फायरवॉल वगैरह तो मतलब वो चीज़ है।
You may face sometimes some delay issues in the lab because you will be given with the cloud-based lab credential. You may feel some sort of delays or latencies. Otherwise, lab is working perfectly all right. All the engineers so far, whatever I have trained on next generation firewall on Palo Alto in networking, so they are okay, fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Sitaram is asking me a question. Troubleshooting calls is also included this course. Yes, why not? Troubleshooting is also part. Definitely.
मैम मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है।
Mhm.
मैं अभी जहाँ पे जिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में काम कर रहा हूँ, वहाँ पे मैं सिस्को फायरवॉल पे काम कर रहा हूँ, नेक्स्ट जनरेशन फायरवॉल। तो क्या मुझे ये पालो अल्टो में अभी जो मैं कोर्स कर रहा हूँ, तो इसके हेल्प से मुझे कुछ नॉलेज मिल सकता है उसमें कॉन्फ़िगरेशन और इम्प्लीमेंट?
Definitely. I was having the same situation. In fact, when I started learning about Palo Alto, I was also learning some other firewalls at the same time. But that is the reason I'm saying Palo Alto is why my favorite firewall is this. Because after learning the concept from Palo Alto, I actually understood other firewalls very well. Just like you heard one term, right? C is the language of all, it is the mother language for all today's programming language. Similarly, you would say Palo Alto is the mother firewall for all the other firewall because there are very much ease. It's a very basic firewall, still very powerful.
Okay, okay.
Okay, Sumit, yeah, you can leave. And Mahindra, yes, we will be covering routing part. OSPF and BGP, it is not, normally I do not cover them, but we will be covering up to some extent because in IPsec tunnel, you can configure these two. So we can give an experiment to that. And that is all about those questions, whatever I got on the chat. Okay. So if there are no further questions,
Last question.
शगुन, मुझे इस बारे में किससे बात करनी है? आपने स्टार्ट में बोला था कि मुझे वैसे कुछ और बोला गया था क्लास के बारे में.
Praveen sir. Praveen sir, are you here? I think he has left. Maybe I'm not too sure. But you can just mail them or you can contact them. They will be assigning your whatever the trainer you're looking forward for.
नहीं, मगर किसे मेल करनी है मैम?
Do you have the number, contact number detail for them?
मेरे पास मैम सिर्फ जो जिन्होंने मुझे एनरोल करवाया था उनका ही नंबर है.
That is the one. So you have to call them. If anyone is having somebody's number, you can just let him know.
मैम ये होस्ट हम चेंज होता रहेगा या आप फिक्स रहोगे?
Every class I'll be the host, and if you want to, let's say we will be having some classes, and if you want to share your screen, then I'll have to give you the permission to be the co-host. Then you can share your screen. So it works like that.
नो मतलब आप अभी जो 9 PM का जो बैच है उसमें आप ही रहोगे या फिर दूसरा कोई भी आ सकता मतलब?
Basically, these Zoom meetings are they are the third party owner stuff. So I have my credentials. So as per those credentials, I'll be the host because I'll be starting the class.
Okay.
Well, timing will be same for the classes, or it will be flexible?
Timings will be 9 to 10, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Indian time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
1 hour now or Monday to Friday?
Monday to Friday, yeah.
1 hour.
किसी के पास प्रवीण का नंबर है तो प्लीज शेयर कर दें.
तो नेटवर्किंग में सपोर्ट @networking ईमेल आईडी में मेल कर दो.
ओके, support@networkings.
नेटवर्किंग की साइट खोलना ना, उसमें कॉन्टैक्ट अस में नीचे लिखा होगा. एंड
ठीक,
इफ
ठीक.
यू ऑलरेडी हैव एनरोल तुम टिकट भी सबमिट कर सकते हो.
क्या सबमिट कर सकता हूँ?
टिकट एक चोरी टिकट होता है, वो भी सबमिट कर सकते हो, वो भी फैसिलिटी है.
ठीक है.
They will answer it within 24 hours.
Okay, guys, I hope I'll see you soon in the classes. And yes, Santosh, this batch will be led by me. I'll be the trainer. No. This batch is particularly for me. Every trainer will give its demo.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, okay. All right. So nice meeting to all of you. And do not worry. Do not overthink a lot. These are the topics. And it will be very basic also. So just cool and calm. And just stay, whatever the book I have mentioned, please go through it. This is brilliant book from Computer Network. Very, very basic thing. Okay.
Okay, nice to meet you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Good night.
Okay,
Good
bye-bye.
night. Bye-bye.